All right, guys, so I made the wrong rounded pyramid. It was supposed to be three-sided, not four-sided, but I can't count, so I'll have to do it again now. But that's okay, because actually this one's a little bit more tricky. And as I looked it up and was kind of thinking about it, this is a very interesting project to work on because it does not go the way you think it's going to go. And I even tried an add-on that creates it for you, and that didn't work out as well. So what I'm going to do is merge two vertices that center on a plane. And now I'm going to turn on something here in edit mode, which is edge or face angles. Okay. So when we select this, we can see the face angles in the corners here. You see 53 and 63. So as far as I'm aware, Blender doesn't have an actual way of creating perfect triangles by default, unless you do the geometry extras add-on. But what we're going for here is 60 degrees. Okay. This is kind of important too, depending on what you're modeling. And it's kind of like, you can think of like a, what is it? The Wankel engine, right? Like the one the Mazda RX-7 has. When it has like a, kind of like a piston setup like this, where it rotates and it fires, right? Well, I guess our orientation here is off as well. Can we shift this cursor to select it? That won't be the center, will it? Set origin to 3D cursor. We're expecting to spin. Yeah, it's not the center, I don't think. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, we're expecting this point to be at the exact same spot here when it rotates. Okay. That's all we're going for there. So we can take this now. We can turn that off. We're not using that anymore. Oh, actually we will. Hold on. Right click, poke face, select the center vertex. We got to do this in this direction as well. And you can see they only show up when you move, apparently. So we're just going to set it to 60 real fast. And we're going to leave it there. Alt click here, F, fill that. We can now turn that off. We don't need it. And it's close enough. It's not precision. And one of the things about polymodeling is a lot of times it's very hard to do things with precision. This shape especially, I think. So if we subdivide this with a modifier, we're going to use simple. And we're going to do it twice. We can apply this, Control A in object mode, Control A, apply it. Now, it took me a little while to figure out how to get this curvature kind of going correctly. And surprisingly, the answer was easier than what I was messing around with. So select the center vertex there. These are poles, right? Or they're end poles, three edges coming out of a single vertex. They tend to pinch, right? And they cause a lot of problems, especially on curvature. So you might have a hard time getting this just right. And the way you create this shape, generally, like the most accurate way you can do it anyways, is by creating the tetrahedron, the pyramid like this, and then you put a sphere on each corner of it, right? Make them all the same size, and you can scale them all on individual origins. And then you do intersection booleans in a certain order. You can actually create the shape, but you have to do like 5 booleans, and it's got messy topology after. But you can use that shape as a guide. And instead of going through that whole process, we're just going to go for the topology here, because this topology might not be perfect the way I'm doing it. Like the shape might not be perfect, or the form, but the topology should work for that, hopefully, with that other mesh. Anyways, so we can turn on proportional edit, set it to sphere. A little tried and true method here, right? So now if I just press S and start scaling, we can start rounding these out. Now, if I mouse wheel up and down, we can do this at different rates in different areas, right? It has a little fall off curve that's supposed to be spherical in it. So if I press S and start doing that, bring it up a little bit, and I can hold shift. Like mouse wheel is rather rapid and fast, but if you hold shift and mouse wheel, it's a little bit slower. So you can start to play around with this and, try to match it to your other shape there, perhaps. Okay. And that will be not quite round enough, I think. So let's try that again. I found that like maybe inside of it could do a little bit better. And getting that curvature going, but I don't feel like it's quite right. And you got to finesse it a little bit. And you can see it gets close. I know it's close. I don't know if we can get it much better than this though. And we're still going to have a problem where that pole kind of messes things up a little bit. Okay. And you might have to do this kind of in one shot as well. All right. So it's a little bit tricky. Instead of doing it multiple times like I just did, we might end up with more problems because of that. Now, grab these ones, Alt Shift click them, Shift E, crease them. When we subdivide, we'll get that kind of a shape. Okay. The pole here, when we shade smooth, it might be a a little bit noticeable. It might not be. Okay, we can just test, right? 1, 2 subdivisions, add a second subdivision, turn creases off on this one. We'll get something like this. So yeah, you could end up with slight deviations that aren't quite right, but for the most part, you should be pretty close at this point, right? You can see somehow it ends up like looking all kinds of crazy in the orthographic views. It doesn't look right at all. But you do got to be careful with this shape. What I would do is, yeah, you finesse it basically. You tweak that in and out. It's a little bit slow with the subdivisions on, but you can definitely try out different things here. And you can maybe get away with that. And then go to sculpt mode, turn these off in sculpt mode, or you can go to options, use deform only. That also works. We're going to set face sets by normals. You should get it kind of out the gate here, but you might want to click here and shift click and drag to set up the face sets automatically like that, or use the face set tool or whatever face set brush. But this is okay because all I'm trying to do here is if we go to wireframe view, I'm going to use mesh filter, relax face sets. I'm going to auto mask face set boundaries. So we can actually kind of relax this a little bit, and you can see it kind of dips it back in a little. So I can tell the spacing's off a bit because of that, and also poles like to pull inwards anyways. So I'm just going to kind of relax it a bit. Maybe that'll help it out a bit. Okay. That's all I'm trying to do. Trying to get it a little bit better. And we take a look at it with the face sets off, or excuse me, the wireframes. Should be pretty good somewhere in this area. This is probably what you want to do to create this. You can check it with that red matte cap. Comes with Blender, right? You shouldn't see a heavy distortion in the center as you move. It'll be pretty clean. All right, so now all it's going to take is to get the curvatures here right. And with any luck, this thing should still rotate correctly. All right. The same spot, right? Try that again. Yeah. See? So that's going to be about as good as you can get this piece, guys. And that's it for this one, all right? So the only thing left to do is match it up with the Boolean object. You should have a perfect shape, right? Hopefully. This topology should work, right? If you have any better ideas or suggestions on how to do this piece, leave them in the comments below, all right? Thanks for watching.